All right, so today we're going to jump into Samsung, and this one is a big one, probably some of the biggest news I think I've heard in a while.
I agree with you.
It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Tech Path.
And I'm Lisa Francoeur, back at it again. Here
She's killing it today. Dressed to the nines.
We do what we do.
You always have the greatest,
outfits.
stuff.
You put the fancy and fancy vibe. It's
I like
lifestyle.
it. Fancy vibe. All right, so Lisa, let's jump to this first story. This one was done over. Pretty cool. Samsung aiding the Bank of Korea in a CBDC pilot program.
This is super cool. I think that, before we started rolling, this is a harbinger of what's to come. When you see countries like South Korea working with companies like Samsung to enable a CBDC, which is a central bank digital coin, that's an indication that governments are starting to really recognize and prepare for crypto, but crypto that they themselves can govern.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the applications associated with what Samsung is enabling, Paul.
All right, so this thing right here, the company's going to be testing the feasibility of using these instruments in its lineup. Galaxy phones, special assessing a possibility of making offline payments between peers.
This is really cool.
That's a pretty big deal.
I know. And also the fact that it doesn't require an internet connection.
Yep.
So let's talk about the two core points associated with what Samsung is looking to do. One, will it be possible to conduct payments via mobile phones using this currency, as I mentioned, with no internet? And then two, send CBDC remittances to other mobile phones or to other connected bank accounts.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this as well is that even the leadership at the Bank of Korea has been, somewhat cautious about crypto on account of the volatility. But the fact that the crypto will be housed within the Bank of Korea, there's a lot less concern. And then to have the enablement of Samsung, the technology of Samsung, the question is, what will this do for Apple? How will that impact Samsung's positioning?
Yeah, I think this is a gangster move, for sure. These guys just pulled the rug out, I think, on Apple Pay, in the sense that they're getting a test in a really functioning system.
Right.
That, think about this. Apple Pay and Apple would have to do something like this with the U.S. government, which is maybe months, if not years, away from a CBDC. So they're already behind, unless they do something internationally, most likely having to come in and basically, this is kind of, they're already in a disadvantageous position.
What I also like about this is that Samsung, has been pretty crypto friendly. Since 2019, Samsung had enabled Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I think another coin. So it's not as though they're new jack, so to speak, in the crypto arena. But again, in terms of being a front runner, it's really exciting to see what's happening. And, I hope the United States recognizes that this is one instance where we are laggards, quite honestly.
Look how fast they're running at this. So BOK, Bank of Korea, CBDC pilot, tested in 2 phases. First phase is going to run from this month till December.
Yep.
That's this year.
That's correct.
Okay, that's Christmas time. We'll determine the technology required. The second phase are going to run from January until June. So literally, you're talking about less than a year of a test to basically establish all the protocol, get kind of the testing in play, get the players in the game, and roll this out to what will be one of the biggest populations that's going to be transacting with their mobile devices.
And now they're competing with China.
Yeah, which is the other thing. Now that's a whole nother scenario. Because if you think about Southeast Asia and where Singapore, Korea, and a lot of the countries within that region, including Australia to a certain extent, have a lot of, their economies have a lot of interchangeability in terms of people doing business, traveling to those countries. A lot of those things happen. And of course, as we know, the digital yuan, ERMB, is definitely already in play and going full steam. So I like the fact that these guys have got a plan. This last story. This came, South Korea appear on Samsung, but this is a 10-year plan that they're rolling out, which is pretty cool.
And the thing about it is that with this 10-year plan, the Bank of Korea is accelerating research into CBDCs.
Yep.
So there's a lot of forward momentum. The 10-year strategy focuses on blockchain, strongly on blockchain technology.
Right.
And they're going to be launching or rolling out a digital innovation room so later this year. So this goes to show that they're putting a lot of resources towards ensuring its success. We're not going to turn back the hands of time. This is something that will be implemented.
Yeah, I like it. Here it is. Revealed the plan, blockchain tech, as you had mentioned. It's also said that changes are required to keep in step with the evolving world. So they're already out there as somewhat of a leader. The report also says that the central bank is looking to be more flexible and in line with changing times, describing the 2030 10-year plan. I love the fact that you have a major government moving into a CBDC, accepting of crypto, which is not what's happened obviously in China, and moving into a direction that they are looking at a 10-year plan in going where blockchain will be what will be at that time the most dominant technology on the planet.
And another thing I'll add is that, this is again for crypto enthusiasts out there, an indication that there is a stronghold foundationally for crypto. It is not going anywhere. And although the US has been somewhat apprehensive, that doesn't mean that the rest of the world has. And to be honest, looking at these front runners between China and South Korea, for example, it goes to show that the market is growing exponentially.
Yep.
Adoption is growing. And this is one instance where the US is not leading the charge. So times are changing.
Yeah, look at this last little piece right here. I think this is very important. Later this year, officials announced the Digital Innovation Room. This is going to expand research on various new techs. So they're essentially already creating their skunk works there in Korea to essentially move in this direction. I think this is brilliant in the sense that it's kind of like the Y Combinator for a country around how to deal with the next generation of monetary systems, which is pretty cool.
And another thing I'll add to wrap it up with a nice little bow is that South Korean officials are examining making cryptocurrency, but one that is controlled by the government, right? So when we talk about, CBDCs, that's what we're saying. This is a great opportunity for government to embrace crypto, embrace the technology, rather than run from it, which is kind of what we've seen here.
Yeah, I think if Samsung can get this ran in a successful program, which they're getting kind of the inside track with using a CBDC and a country that's jumping in behind this, and what's happening with Samsung's development in terms of the mobile arena, this could be huge for them on the global scale of cryptocurrency and mobile payment, which is Apple Pay. Listen, I'm an Apple fanboy.
The competition is stealth.
Yeah, I'm an Apple fanboy. I use Apple Pay every day. I love the product, but imagine if you could move this into what will be, in 18 months, real systems that are out there that are going to be utilizing full blockchain technology in terms of payments. So that's going to be cool to watch. Just imagine the security alone.
And we never really talk about, or we never talk about stocks, but Samsung.
We'll think about that. All right, you guys, of course, watching in and or listening in over on the podcast side. We love that. And I love the feedback we're getting over there. And again, thanks a bunch for all the good Twitter love, too. We love that.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to click that subscribe button. Be sure to share with your community. We want to make sure that folks stay informed. And comment below. What are your thoughts? How did what we discussed today, how did it land for you? Do you have any thoughts on CBDCs? Would you like to see that here in the US? Let us know.
You think this is a big enough advantage for Samsung to overtake Apple Pay? I'd love to hear your insights on that one, too. You want to hit me up? Do it on Twitter, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.